Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the neighborhood Facebook page. So, what is going on with the neighborhood Facebook page? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. So, before I get into it, please check out my Patreon page. I got my tiers and all that kind of fun and joy, getting access to exclusive content that is not available here on YouTube, as well as some other benefits. So, yeah, link is right in the description box below, and please do that for me, and also subscribe and like this channel. So, today is Thursday, August 10th, 2023. But by the time you guys are seeing this, it'll be Friday. And Fridays are awesome! Fridays are awesome no matter what! So, today we're going to talk about the Facebook page, give a little bit of an update in regards to the Facebook page, and what's going on with it, and all the crazy neighborhood drama and things of that nature. So yeah, that is going to be fun. So let's dive into it. So I have hooked up to a external microphone now. I tried to connect to my iPhone as a microphone, and apparently it doesn't work too good. So let's talk about the Facebook page. What's going on with it? So, as a while ago, I posted that it might be getting shut down by the HOA board. Now, let me tell you something about this Facebook page. This Facebook page was created by a neighbor. It wasn't created by the HOA. It was created by a neighbor. For all the neighbors to go and get together and talk and all this happy stuff. Okay? And the neighborhood Facebook page has turned into a gossiping center for all the Karens, and it has kind of failed its purpose, because people are going on there talking about things they shouldn't be talking about. No wonder why they want to shut it down, because they're getting too personal on that page. And it's gotten out of hand, and the moderator, the admin, who is a neighbor, who is one of those Karens, doesn't remove the hateful, mean comments that is being shown. So today we're going to talk about some things that has happened recently in that neighborhood. Okay, so first off, we're going to go based off of what Rob Murphy had said. Rob Murphy had said, "This afternoon, a neighbor boy decided to shoot pebbles at an occupied car in front of my home. He was standing in a driveway and used an orange toy handgun. To be clear, he hit the car twice. It was not an accident. As he stopped to evaluate his first shot, he raised the toy a second time and shot it again. My husband and I are in our 60s and hate drama, as does the rest of our family. Only because there was no visible chips in the paint, we refrained from ringing the doorbell to talk to the homeowners. However, it will be addressed in the future if there are any further incidents. In general, the kids in the neighborhood are sweet, well-mannered, and properly supervised. Please remind the kids to respect property and keep toy guns in the backyard to avoid issues like this." Okay, so let's break this down. So basically, a kid shooting at a car with pebbles, an occupied car with pebbles, intentionally, and nothing. And I don't know if the parent had already done something about it or what. But let me tell you something, okay? BBs, pebbles, pellets, whatever you call them. They have the ability to shoot out someone's car window and shoot out windows and glass. Okay, and that stuff ain't cheap to replace. And charges could be filed, lawsuits could be filed. It ain't something you want to have happen because, you know, you're damaging private property or property of someone's vehicle. And let me tell you something, cleaning up broken glass window from a car, it ain't pleasant. When a window like that breaks, glass gets everywhere in the car. And it is such an extensive job to remove all those glass because the glass shatters in tiny little pieces. And it's a real pain in the butt to have to clean. And, you know, a pebble as small as that could very well cause that. Now, it could also put dents in the car, which then could affect the car itself. You know, may not pass for inspection. It may not pass for inspection. It may not, you know, it could lose its value. People would have to put out insurance claims on it and all that stuff. You know, it's not a fun thing to have happen. Now, of course, I have actually been shot with things related to pebbles in that neighborhood when I was on my bike. I had one time a kid shot a fake arrow at me, and it got me in my leg, and it almost actually stuck to me, but it shot at my leg, and I was PO'd. I was mad, and the parents and the adults nearby could tell I was mad. But I didn't say nothing because I'm a cool, calm, collected person. But you could bet your butt I was angry about it. Because that arrow could have gotten lodged into my spokes and could have caused my tire and wheel to lock up. And that could cause me to crash and overturn on the bike and be injured. Not only that, but I would have broken the item in half. It wouldn't have been pretty. And then this other time I was riding with my mom, some kid shot a foam thing at me once, my mom and I once, and it landed on somebody's car. And then another time I've had kids try to throw things at me as well. As you guys know, with the whole bully situation with those little kids where they were trying to throw pine cones and stuff and other things at me. And I told them about it because, you know, you don't throw anything at me on a bicycle because that can cause a crash and cause me to be injured. I mean, the kids are so reckless that they don't even, like, pay attention to the surroundings, and they're not being properly supervised. And the parents don't do nothing about it. I mean, in my opinion, I think that kids are getting more and more disrespectful by the day because the parents are not properly disciplining their children. You know? Now, there's a difference between being overly strict and being fairly strict, you know? But, you know, having to the point to where kids are to the point to where they're throwing things it's a problem. And, you know, that's what happened. Now, in regards to other things such as, you know, that type of vandalism, trying to think what else had happened to me in regards to that. We also had, people have had their handlebars from their bikes scratching up people's cars and leaving dents in their garage doors, and the neighbors are getting PO'd about it because they're doing damage to people's property and nobody's doing anything, and the neighbors don't even think it's even funny. Well, the neighbors don't even do anything about it. the parents. And, and just like with before where the whole Karen thing happened with my mom, I'm also going to link that video right down below. Like what happened with mom, where mom got kicked by the admin because she didn't live in the neighborhood anymore, so they removed her. And they went on this whole thing about blah, 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 and damage and stuff. Now, if I bet either my mom and I had said something about it, oh, you can bet your butt the Canine Cop and all the Karens would flock on that comment section. But yeah, I mean, you don't even hear a peep from those Karens because they know they're in the wrong. And they want to defend their parenting like they're entitled. They're entitled to everything. So yeah, that's where it becomes an issue. So yeah, I just hope that this matter gets resolved and that they don't have any more issues with kids acting uncontrolled and wild out in the neighborhood, because it will not be tolerated. On the Facebook page, group started 9 years ago today. So the admin, she started this Facebook page 9 years ago today. That's approximately about the same time we moved into that house in Virginia Beach. And everybody on Facebook page. And so now she is starting to move, and she's moving. So she's going to be giving off to Ashley Kristen, who was the most chillest lady on the neighborhood. She's the chillest lady. She don't get involved in the drama. She don't escalate it. She lets it go, man. I mean, she lets it go. So shout out to Ashley Kristen, because she just lets it all hang out. You know what I mean? Anyway, and I'm not trying to say that to be weird. I'm just saying that, that she is the chillest, and her husband, John, the crazy guy with the pickup truck, he as well is the most chillest of all. He makes jokes, but he don't get rough with nobody. He keeps things nice and going. And that is what is admirable about it. Now, John, for those who don't know about John, I think John is the guy who with the big Ram truck that's in the corner end. But there's also another guy with a tinted Ram on the other end, on the other side of the street as well. But, I only came across them a few times. But I'm sure everybody knows who I am. Anyway, so, if one moves, they got to remove themselves. Well, I personally am still on the group. And the reason why I'm still on the group as of all this time is because I like to know what's going on in that neighborhood. I like to be informed of what's going on, And as much as what they say, it's been home for 13 years, it is what it is, you got to move on. But, sometimes moving to a new neighborhood isn't always the best thing. But anyway, that's what I want to give about the Facebook update. Now, the HOA board had a meeting. And let me give you some backstory about the HOA board, okay? So, the HOA board, my mom actually was a volunteer secretary for them. And she ended up quitting about maybe a year or so after, because the president of that group, I think she quit maybe within the first year of it. I don't know. She quit because the president of that group, of the HOA board, told her that she wasn't moving fast enough for him, or whatever the case may be, he was dissatisfied with her work. Something like that. Well, my mom said, oh, well, I don't have to deal with this BS. And, I'm not being paid to stay here, so I'm just going to leave. That's what she did. She got up, left the meeting, never to return. Well, then, the president of the HOA board, every single day, that man sees me. He is staring me down. Whether he's driving by in his brown Nissan Titan, or I'm riding by his house and he's out in his driveway, this man stares me down. Like, every opportunity he gets. And I was like, what? I was in, middle school back then? When Mom quit? I'm like, this man's staring me down. Every single day. And, this man's staring me down. Every single day I ride by. Every single day. Now, I don't know why he does that, but he's like, oh, there's the son of my former secretary. There's the son of my former secretary. I don't know what the case may be, but he would stare at me. He wouldn't wave at me. He wouldn't do nothing. Now, however, there's another guy in the neighborhood who drives a big F-350, an older F-350. He would wave at me all the time. He was friendly. And then there was this other guy who was always sporting flip-flops and walking his beagles around the neighborhood, or whatever it was. I don't know what that dogs they were. He knew me. He was a pretty cool guy. He would always wave at me. He'd always come driving by in his Subaru, what is it, Outback? Or, I'm trying to think of the other one. It's not the Outback. Crosstrek. Always waving at me. Always waving. Yeah, always waving by. And I always wave back. I always wave back. Believe you me, I always wave back. Well, that was the story of the HOA board. And people knew me. Mom got compliments about me and all that stuff. Now, recently, they've been constantly changing HOA people for, like, property management or something. I don't know, like a property manager. Because it's not like... The neighborhood is a condo association. And it's a condo association, has an HOA, and they have a property manager that runs it. And even though you're a homeowner, you still have to abide by this association and the HOA. Because they have all these rules you have to follow to maintain your yard and fences and things like that. Well, they're constantly changing management and all this type of stuff. Well, then they had an HOA meeting. And one of the things they were going to do was they were going to shut down the Facebook page because it was unauthorized. Because they're going on there, they're ranting about everything, talking about stuff they shouldn't be talking about. No wonder why they want to shut it down. Well, there was this lady who was up for election, and she was going up for election. She was going to be elected. Well, it so turns out that she was going to be elected. She was looking to be elected and all that. Well, she didn't get elected because she wanted to be a Karen. She was live streaming the HOA meeting, and a female, older female who was standing right there with the HOA people, told her she couldn't live stream and told her to turn the phone off. Don't be video recording. They don't want it. So she gets all political with them and says, "Can I ask why?" Yeah, you didn't get elected after that whole thing. I mean, as much as you have a nice, beautiful family and you want to make the neighborhood better, well, sometimes things don't go the way you want to go. That's exactly what happened with her. Now, I do have the video recording of the HOA thing about that whole interaction. That's going to be uploaded onto my Patreon page. It's not going to be on my main channel, so if you want to check it out, it will be on my Patreon page. And I will give a link to my Patreon page right down below so you can access it. However, it will only be accessed for people who are pledged as a patron for the smallest tier possible. So you can have access to it, but you will need to become a patron in order to view that. Now, going on into, being a political Karen. Because, they are very political Karens. They're being political. And do you know why they're being political? Because they're like, oh my God, the HOA got to violate our rights. They're just so political. Like, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, so one thing, guys, for listening in today. And make sure you guys like, you guys comment, and you guys follow me for more. And stay tuned. Anyway, guys, see ya, and have a very good weekend. And that's all she wrote.